Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday, the coaching day here on the podcast. And we have with us this week, Darryl Wright. Hey, Darryl, welcome back.
Hi, Vasco. Thanks for having me.
So on Wednesdays, we pick a topic and then we have a coaching conversation. And just to clarify for everybody out there, we're not having a coaching conversation in the sense that I'm coaching Darryl or Darryl is coaching me. This is about us acting as coaches, expressing curiosity and openness to what might come up during the conversation, figuring out experiments, and then trying out that experiment in real life. So building a theory, devising an experiment, running the experiment, and learning from that. That's the perspective that we're bringing to this conversation. So, Darryl, introduce the topic to us.
So, anybody listening to this podcast in the time that it was recorded would know that the world has gone AI crazy. And one of the things that I'm seeing that's a massive challenge out there at the moment is that people are looking to AI to solve their problems. And they're doing it in the same way that they previously looked to Agile to solve their problems for them. And the problem with that is, of course, that Agile doesn't solve problems for you. What it does is it shines a light on where your problems are. You still need to do the work to solve them. And so that's why that didn't work then. And it doesn't work any better now because people are looking to AI to solve their problems. AI will show up where those problems are. They still need to do the work to solve it in the same way. AI is not a silver bullet, just like Agile wasn't. But the problem is that people don't recognize that. And so how do we help people with something that they don't know they need?
That is a very good question. Okay, can we think of a specific condition situation you have in mind, or do we start talking about the overall expectation that somehow there's like this magic tool that if you just adopt it, it will somehow solve all of your problems? Like what do you have in mind?
Well, my particular lens that I thought we could explore first is in the nature of us and our role in this as Scrum Masters or coaches or many people got disillusioned with bad Agile that wasn't done well, or they heard a bad report about it. And as a result, they now have an allergic reaction to the word Agile. And
Agile is dead is what they're saying.
Yes, Agile is dead. And of course, Agile isn't dead because Agile is about being collaborative and being closer to your customers and focusing on delivering more value sooner. Like that stuff is never going to be dead. But because Agile has got a bit of a bad name with those people that didn't understand it, they now don't think they need it. And I think there's a real risk of AI going in the same direction. We're hearing all this stuff about AI slop and so on.
And it's everywhere, by the way. It's a real problem.
Everywhere. It is, right? And so because I think if people don't understand AI and think that it's going to solve their problems and then it doesn't, and they have a bad experience, then in another 5 years, 2 years, 20 years, I don't know what it's going to be, we're going to have this massive backlash again against people going, AI is dead because it didn't solve my problems for me.
Death
Right?
is dead.
Right? And what does that mean for us? If
Okay,
we're
but I
endeavoring...
think there's a very serious point there. So I'm going to try
Yes.
to put the problematic in my own words. Let me see if I got it right. So what you're saying is we had a bunch of expectations on Agile, whatever those were. Everybody had a different set of expectations. And we
Yes.
adopted Agile based on the expectation that we would get what we wanted. As we started adopting Agile, and we very likely saw that the old problems continued to exist, we got... how do you say, what's the English word? We got disillusioned
Illusioned?
and frustrated and potentially even a little bit angry. And I do see anger a lot on LinkedIn, for example. And then
Yes.
we started blaming what we thought once was the cure for the problem. And now we say Agile is the problem. And then I don't know what comes next, because that's the interesting part of the conversation. Because if you think Agile is dead, then what are you going to do next? And I have an example to share with you that I think kind of illustrates this problematic. I know of a local company here in Helsinki who's now in their third Agile adoption wave. They
Right.
did Agile adoption early in the 2000s, then they moved back to project management. They started in project management, did the first Agile adoption, moved back to project management, then moved back to Agile, then moved back to project management, and now they're in their third Agile adoption, which of course comes mixed with AI, which is an interesting kind of a nuance in their last Agile adoption phase. And what I'm thinking of here, and let me know what you think there, but what I'm thinking of here is that when we started looking at Agile was to solve a problem. And that problem was described very often, not in all cases, but very often as we're not getting what we want. We're not getting the right amount of software. We're not getting the right type of software. People are too slow. We can't respond to market demands. Let's adopt this Agile thing and kind of fix all of it in one go. But we didn't, and this is where I refer back to Deming, which you mentioned yesterday, but we didn't really think about what's in the system that Agile would help solve or change. So what I'm thinking is that with AI, just like with Agile, we're adopting AI thinking that we just continue to work as we did before, and then magically this AI will come in and solve all the problems in how we work now, so that we can continue to work like we work now, and everything will be solved. And of course, anyone who's read Deming like you did and I did understands that actually, if you don't look at what are the inherent causes coming from the system itself, no tool will ever solve anything. They will just slightly change the system, but not really transform it. And I'm thinking that maybe this is where we are at, like understanding that maybe you and me, I mean, we are at this point of understanding that actually it's not the tool, it's the system, but we don't know how to phrase it in a way that people would get it. Is that where we are?
I think it is because, for many years, I think people were trying to do Agile for Agile's sake instead of Agile as a way to get whatever it is they're after, better business outcomes. And I think they're doing the same thing now with AI. Let's adopt AI. Why? Well, because it's the latest thing, or because everyone else is doing it. We're adopting AI for AI's sake instead of this is the problem we need to solve. Can AI help us solve that problem? And to me, just to bring in another quotable person, the Buddha is reported to have said, "Don't look at my finger when I'm pointing at the moon," right? And it's like the same thing. It's like asking, what's the problem to solve here? I found that just such an incredible tool. It cuts through so much noise. Even if you're in a crazy meeting and people are talking about all this stuff, just coming back to, hang on, what is the problem we're trying to solve here? And if you can get clear on the problem, then you can say, okay, will Agile or AI or whatever it is help us solve this problem?
Okay, so I want to pitch a different perspective. So I'm with you so far, right? Like I agree with you. We need to define the problem clearly. Otherwise, we're just, blind people kind of trying to touch the world around us and trying to figure out what it is. And by the way, philosophers have been saying this for 2000 years at least. So it's not like we're new to this as a species, right? But what I want to put forward to you is that in software, you and I specifically who work in software, we have a different challenge. So everything you said is right, continues to be right, but we have another layer. And that layer is that software is a significantly different endeavor from the endeavors we've had before. Like, for example, if you think about knowledge work mostly happens in the head of one person, like writing movies, writing books, coming up with, artwork, whatever. And lately, so let's say in the last 50 years or so, we've started to have this new kind of knowledge work. Let's call it the team-based knowledge work. So knowledge work that happens not in the mind of one person, but in the mind of a large group of people. And we have serious problems in coordinating this ability to come together, generate ideas together, work on ideas together. And software is an exponent of that problem because software these days only happens, well, not only, but most of it happens in mass-sized teams, like, a team of 5 to 9, but it could also be 10 teams of 5 to 9, and so on. And I think that Agile also brought this perspective that, wait a minute, software is different. We need a different set of tools, like, the daily stand-up, the frequent releases, because software isn't like what we did before. What do you think about that? Are we in the need in our industry to create a different perspective over knowledge work as well?
I agree. And I think that same advance or that same exponential nature of it that software brought that you just described, I think AI is going to be that again. I think it's going to accelerate it even more. I have customers who will say to me, "Oh, we're going to automate the process for blah blah blah," and I say, "But isn't that currently a really bad process? It's broken. It's really inefficient." Yeah. So if you automate it, isn't that just going to lock in a bad process? Like, wouldn't it be better to make the process good before you automate it, right? But in their mind, it's just, no, we'll automate it. That'll fix everything.
So that's a serious problem. And then I see another serious problem, which is that if you imagine a team of 5 to 9 people, so 7 plus minus 2, and you imagine this team working on software, and they can develop pretty large systems with just, 5 to 9 people. But now imagine every one of those 5 to 9 people working with a bunch of AI agents, creating even more software. And now we have exponentially increased the problem of sharing knowledge, sharing where we are together and building something together. In fact, I would say that for teams, AI isn't only a benefit, it's also a huge threat for the ability that we have to cognitively understand what we are doing together.
Yeah, I agree, because especially now that we're starting to see the rise of AI agents, if these AIs are going to be acting autonomously, it's even more imperative that we find a way to work together and be on the same page. Otherwise, we'll just create more divergent chaos.
So I'm thinking that one experiment that we could bring to the people we work with, okay, the automation one is very clear, right? Like improve before automating, right? Like that's an obvious thing. Hey, could we make the process 10 times faster? Do value stream mapping, figure out, yes, probably, because usually processes are very inefficient, even the good ones, not just the bad ones, and automate only after you improve the process or even remove the need for the process, which is much faster and more productive than automation. But then when we think about teams working with AI, I wonder what we could bring to a team for them to grasp the danger, but also the potential of using AI in the work that we do. Because I think that the coordination problem will be 10x once you introduce AI into the coding and testing and speccing. So the specification is also a topic, aspects of the work.
Well, I think you actually just hinted on something, which is value stream mapping. If we were to, get, people to do experiments with, map out your value stream and then ask which stages of that value stream would humans do and which stage would AIs do, and have clear visualizations, clear handovers. The old Kanban explicit policies for moving something from one column to another, and one column is for humans and one column is for AIs. Then we would have a much higher level of visibility of who's doing what and what are the criteria for each one to do. And we would have the opportunity for people to make sure that step by step through the process, someone is making sure that we're not having hallucinations, cause adverse outcomes, right? Because we don't want adverse outcomes. That's something that I'm interested in trying out.
Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of illustrates that back to basics, right? It's like define the goal, as that was the main point you made, and then like do value stream mapping, figure out where, maybe there are steps in the process that could be eliminated. That's much more productive than automation.
Yes. And ultimately, I think one of my favorite quotes of all time is from Einstein, who said, if I had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about solutions. And I think we're people as human beings, we jump straight to solution mode. I think we need to spend a bit more time thinking about the problems.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to wrap up this conversation. Thank you for that, Darryl.
Thanks so much, Vesco.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, and if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.